everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. A little bit overcast today, a little bit of a breeze out here, so it's nice and cool under the rancho. Was busy this morning, only got a little bit of my sun, but I think I've got stored up enough vitamin D for a while anyway. As I've told you before, like some of these videos are just come from internal conversation, things that pop into my head and things I have internal conversations with myself about. Yeah, when you live by yourself for long periods of time, you have many internal conversations about yourself. Some of them are even out loud. But I was thinking about the other day, I've thought about it a lot before, and I think it was dealing with something with me. Like I said, a lot of times when I do these videos and say, you need to do this, you need to do that, you shouldn't, should, blah, 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 kind of talking to me and kind of putting the hammer down on myself. Now, I mostly use my food as fuel. I mean, I do go for taste. I like to have something that I enjoy eating, but I'm more and more getting towards food as fuel. But every once in a while, something will come up and I'll think about food as some other reason other than food. And I can't even remember what precipitated this thinking the other day, but I was thinking about how food has gotten away from what it just really fundamentally is. You know, and I know I'll get a comment on social media somewhere, and they're always nice comments. I have a lot of comments, even when I have comments that seemingly disagree with something that I say. They're always very polite and always very rational thought. And I'll tell you, I don't mind a dissenting opinion ever. You know, as long as somebody can discuss things in a rational manner. I think that's in a rational manner. I just think that's what we should all be able to do. But, you know, somebody will give me a little bit of history and tell me, well, this is how we've used food, or this is what it's been done before. But still, I'm trying to break that thinking in me. Yes, food is used as celebration. Yes, food is used as comfort. Food is used as this. Food is used as that. But food is actually designed to fuel our bodies. And, you know, as I go down this path, I kind of want to figure out how to make that fuel more efficient all the time. You know, you see people that they will just baby their car. They put the highest grade gas in there. They even put mixers in with their gas to make this run right, the best oil. They'll do everything perfect for the internal combustion engine of their car, and then they'll just shovel garbage into their mouth. You know, and it's one of the last, you know, with a lot of people, and I see, it's straight up. At first, you know, I think too many people, we throw this word food addiction around too willy-nilly. With a lot of people, it's just, they just don't want to buckle down and give up what they want to eat. But I think there's a lot of people out there, and I have a few in mind, just right off the top of my head, that it's actually an addiction with. And, you know, I've talked about that before. I won't go into food as an addiction, but that might even be an issue where some people, if you're doing a raw lifestyle, a raw to 4 lifestyle, and you're struggling 8, 9, 10 months a year afterwards, there's probably some issues, psychological, whatever, and you might be more prone. It's the difference between somebody that can just drink a lot of alcohol and somebody that's an alcoholic. They have an addiction to that, and that happens with food. Now, I'm not saying, you know, that those are all issues, and it's the one addiction that we actually kind of feel is kind of PC, politically correct, that we don't really talk about because we're being judgmental, we're being mean, we're body shaming, you know, we're just not being nice. But, you know, if we're not giving somebody their straight story, if we're not actually supporting people in a way that they're going to improve or going to move forward, it's really useless. It's the like food. Like abusing food is the last socially acceptable thing to abuse. Now, you can talk all day. If you see that I abuse alcohol, the gloves are off. You don't have to tiptoe around. You know, you're abusive. You use alcohol. You use crack. You use too much. You use cocaine. But food is probably the most misused substance out there, the most abused substance out there. Yet we never really talk about it. I don't know. Like I say, it's just something I think I'm always striving for an ideal, but I don't necessarily say I'm going to get there or anybody's going to get there. I'm just shooting for the highest ideal for health. And like I say, this is just, everybody's got to make that own path for themselves, you know. Some people but always make a conscious decision. Some people are like, well, you know, yeah, I'm an old loner. I don't do a lot by my, you know, I spend a lot of time by myself. So I don't tend to use food as celebration. I still think, and you know, it's not hurting me, but I still tend to use food as comfort. Now, the only difference is some of the things that I eat when I eat comfort food are not really all that bad or not really all that unhealthy for me, but just psychologically, and it might be a control factor. I can be a control freak to a certain extent, not control over somebody else, but control over myself. So even when I catch myself doing that, eating something for emotional support or to make myself feel better, I try to at least think about it and say, okay, what are you eating? Why are you eating for this reason? And I kind of try to work through that because in my life, I just don't like that process. As you might could tell too by being a loner and having a lot of time by yourself, you have lots of time on your hands and you have lots of, you know, a lot of stuff. You got more time to think. I don't think very many people spend a lot of time in their own head like I do, just simply because life's too busy. You know, you have a spouse, you have children, you have a job where you go to and you're interacting with people for 8 hours. So you don't have a lot of time to really just ponder some of the useless things I think about. But every once in a while there's a useful thought in there too. But in all seriousness, it's, you know, we really need to, and like I say, I'm not going to an extreme where you never need to do this again. It's just something to think about. But food is our fuel. Food is what keeps us going. Food is how we keep our brains sharp so that we can go to work and do the things we need to do to make the money to pay the bills. Ooh, God, I hate even talking about that cycle, but you know, food is, it's just too important to us to willy-nilly just, you know, okay, well, it was okay. You know, I had this occasion. I ate it for this occasion. Why? You know, it's just, I guess basically what I'm going to end this with is just know why you're doing what you're doing, and that's what I'm working towards. I'm working towards using food for what I think it was originally intended, what our ancestors probably did, probably what the primates still do. Now, I'm sure a primate enjoys a good piece of fruit. I mean, you know, animals are just like us in a lot of ways. They have likes, dislikes. I'm sure they have tastes. So I'm sure, you know, in a sense they enjoy their food, but for our primates, you know, it's just about feeding yourself, staying fed. And I think they instinctively know exactly what combinations and what they need for their optimal health. You don't see an overweight animal in nature. Animals know what they're doing. So be more like the primates, and just pick that food for fuel, the greens and the fruits and whatever else is included in your way of eating. And like I say, one last time, I'm not talking about you're going to go just like, you know, like a robot and never do anything. I mean, I'm always going to, you know, have a special meal here and there. I'm always going to eat something that I shouldn't, at least every once in a while. But I'm working towards, you know, it's always, like I'll say in every video, it's always about always moving forward. Doesn't matter how fast, just always moving forward. And that's what I'm trying to work on. That's one of my big ideals that I'm working on, is towards making my food more and more and more being about fuel, and looking at things like, even when I'm combining my dinner or when I'm combining my day, about those combinations to be the most optimal. Like, am I getting enough of this? Am I getting enough of that? Am I combining right at the right times? Am I eating, you know, am I getting some of my fat in the evenings? Am I getting my savor, my greens throughout the day? Am I getting plenty of fruits to carve the fruit up? You know, it's a never-ending thing, but it's a work in progress. Anyhow, if you guys enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel, and it's hump day. Hope you guys are getting ready for the weekend. Woohoo! See ya!